Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Subrahmanya. I have a decade of experience in IT. I work as a senior AWS data engineer. Before, I also worked as a AWS solution architect. The agenda of the discussion is first, I will talk about what is cloud computing. Then we'll compare cloud computing versus traditional computing. Followed by that, we'll be discussing about cloud computing models, then cloud providers in the market. Then we'll be talking about career paths in AWS. Finally, I'll be sharing course content and also I will be discussing about duration of the program. So moving further, first let us try to understand what is cloud computing. So in simple terms, cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis model. Now, what does this particular definition of cloud computing says? The meaning of this one is everyone requires servers today for doing any IT project. Now, let's say that we have a IT project that requires a server. Okay, that requires a server. Now, there are two ways in which I can deal with this current situation. Now, the server which is required to do the IT project can be, I can go to a computer hardware shop and I can buy this server. Then I can bring it into my office and I can make it operational. So server, we will be bringing it into our on-premise setup. Then we will be making it operational, and then we can do our IT project using this server. But this is it has its own advantages and disadvantages. We will come to that later on. But for the time being, this is one approach. Another approach is what we can do is servers are already available with the companies like AWS, Azure, GCP, and many more. So they have their own physical infrastructure set up where they have several thousands of servers. They have several thousands of servers with them with the different configurations. Now, what we can do is rather than buying a server, bringing it into our on-premise setup and making it operational, we can ask these companies to give server on rent for us. Because let's say that this project is of duration 3 months. Right, so this project is of duration 3 months, and after that I don't want servers. So what I can do, I can ask AWS, hey AWS, can you please give me a server for let's say 3 months duration on rent. I'm not going to buy this. They'll say yes, we will provide a required server for you on rent. You can take it, you can use it, and once your usage is over, you can give it back to us. Now, how do you use this server, right? So let's say here, this is me sitting in my office and I'm working on an IT project. Now, how I will use this server? So this server, in order to use this server, I will be using a computing device, let's say a laptop. And then I will be connecting to this particular server from my laptop over the internet. Now here we have internet and we'll be connecting to this one through internet. Okay, and then we will be using these servers, right? So that means cloud here, what is happening? Computing is happening in AWS setup, okay, not in a place where we are currently, right? So that means computing is happening in a different place. Okay, now if you have your own server in your own office, then computing will be happening in your own office, not in other places. Okay, now this kind of arrangement is called as cloud computing. So let me come back to definition once again. So cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services. Okay, in this case server. Okay, on-demand computing services. In this case, it means server over the internet on a pay-as-you-go basis model. Okay, so I will be taking a computing resource, which is nothing but a server in this case, and I will be paying on as and when I use it. Okay. Right. So whenever I use it, that means only for 3 months duration for which I am going to use this server. And I will be paying only for this duration, not after that. Okay. Now this is called as cloud computing. Now this has tremendously changed the IT project structure today. You go to any organization, it can be startup or it can be a middle-sized MNC or it can be a large-scale MNC. Everyone is now preferring cloud because of its advantage. In the next slide, we will see the advantages of. Let's compare on-premise computing with the cloud computing, just to understand the difference between these two. So moving further, now let us try to compare on-premise computing with right. So the first column here is talking about expenses, I mean parameters. Then next column, right. So first column is serial number, second column is parameter, third column here, this column is nothing but it is on-premise computing, and last column here is nothing but cloud computing. So we have right. So 4 columns here. So now first parameter expenses, right? So when you take expenses, so
కదా దాని నుంచి ఆ వీడియో పెట్టాను కదా హెడ్స్ లో
hello,
ఒకసారి లైవ్
hello, yeah, sorry. So now we are comparing on-premise computing with cloud computing on various parameters. Now first is expense. Now when it comes to expense, if you are going with on-premise computing, right? So now this is the column for on-premise computing, and this is the column for cloud computing. Okay. Now, if you take expenses on-premise computing, initially you have to spend a lot, okay, in order to buy your server and making arrangement for it. Whereas if you go with the cloud computing, then initially you don't have to spend a lot. Okay, you don't have to spend much money on setting up your infrastructure, because we are going to rent required resource from companies like AWS. So initial investment will be low. Okay, so on-premise, high initial investment because you have to buy all the required infrastructure, whereas cloud computing, less. Next, space requirement. Now in on-premise computing, what is happening, all infrastructure will be in your premise only, so you need lot of space for this. Whereas when you go to cloud computing, all the infrastructure will be in vendor side like AWS or Azure, so they will have their own setup and all the infrastructure will be there. So as a company which is working on a project, need not required to worry about space in their organization to keep all these required infrastructure. Then maintenance. If it is on-premise setup, you need a team to maintain the servers and other infrastructure. If it is cloud computing, the cloud computing companies will take care of the maintenance. Then when it comes to data recovery, if you are having only one on-premise setup, if something goes wrong, then recovering data is very difficult. Whereas if you are using cloud, you can keep backup of your data in different regions, so recovery will be very, very easy for you. Next, flexibility. So scaling out and scaling in, that means increasing the required infrastructure and then reducing the unnecessary infrastructure when it is not required is very difficult in on-premise, right? So scaling in and scaling out is a huge challenge when it comes to on-premise. Whereas if you look at cloud computing, right, so it is very easy. You can return hundreds of servers back to AWS resource pool within a mouse click, and also you can get hundreds of servers for your project within a mouse click. So it is very, very flexible. Updates, if you are using cloud computing, you have to take care of I mean, if you are going with on-premise computing, all updates related to software and other things has to be taken care by you only. If it is cloud, they will take care. Okay, so this is just comparing on-premise computing with cloud computing, right? So that is the second point. First we saw what is cloud computing, then we understood the difference between, or we compared on-premise computing with cloud computing. And here the winner is nothing but cloud computing, because it has a lot of advantages over on-premise computing. Next, cloud computing models. Which are the cloud computing models present here, right? Now, there are majorly two types of cloud computing models, which are deployment model, and another one is called as a service model. Now, deployment model is built based on who can access the cloud. Okay, so now based on this, you have public cloud, you have private cloud, and you have something called as a hybrid cloud. Okay, so you have three types of clouds. Now, what are these three types of clouds? So these three types of clouds are the clouds that are classified based on who can access them. Now, the meaning of public cloud is it is a cloud whose infrastructure and other resources can be accessed by anyone. Okay, so like, let's say this is AWS cloud, and they have a lot of infrastructure present with them. Okay, now the meaning of public cloud is, let's say, lot of servers are here. So basically anyone in this world can access these resources. Okay, so let's say this is me, I can also access. Let's say this is you guys, you can also access resources. Now this kind of setup or a cloud setup is called as public cloud. Okay, so anyone can basically access it. Then you have something called as private cloud. Now what is private cloud? It is a cloud whose accessibility is restricted. Okay, now let's say we have a cloud and it contains several servers, but this cloud is accessible only to selected persons or persons who belong to certain organization. Okay, now if you take typical IT service companies or any IT company, they have their own infrastructure and they have their own internal cloud, but this cloud can be accessed by only employees of that organization, or other stakeholders of that organizations. Everyone cannot access these resources. Okay, so the resources which are present in private cloud can be accessed only by selected persons or group of persons, but not all. Okay, and then we have something called as hybrid cloud. Now what is this hybrid cloud? The hybrid cloud is a cloud which is a combination of public cloud and private cloud. Okay, now let's say that Infosys got a IT project of $1 million, and this requires 100 servers, right? 100, let's say, M grade servers. Okay, so now these what happens here is Infosys is in IT business from many years, so they have their own internal setup or internal cloud, and assume that there they have around 40 servers. Okay, so now this IT project requires 100 servers, so 40 servers are already available with them. They will use, and another remaining 60 servers, they will take it from cloud vendors like AWS or Azure, someone. Okay, now this kind of arrangement is called as hybrid cloud, because it is a combination of private cloud and public cloud. We call this kind of arrangement as hybrid cloud. So to summarize, we have public cloud, we have private cloud, and we have hybrid cloud. So public cloud can be accessed by anyone. Private cloud can be accessed by selected persons or a group of persons. And hybrid cloud can be, it is nothing but it is a combination of public cloud and private cloud, and accessibility depends on that project. Okay, so now moving to service models, right? Now what are these service models? So service models are the models which are created based on what service cloud computing companies are offering. Okay, so based on that, they have three types of services. That means all the facilities provided by cloud vendor is put into three different groups. One is infrastructure as a service, next is platform as a service, and then we have software as a service. Okay, now what does it mean, right? So infrastructure as a service means it is a service that will provide you required infrastructure. Let's say I want servers, okay, from cloud. Then I can use a service which is present in the cloud that will help you to get required infrastructure. So here you will get raw servers, right? So you will get raw servers, then all the required installation, okay. Let's say you want to do a IT project, and that IT project, let's say it requires a PHP platform or Java platform, right? So now you have to take care of installing all these softwares here, okay. So IaaS only provides required infrastructure for you. It will not, okay, it will not provide anything other than that. So then it is your responsibility to make it ready for your IT project. Whereas platform as a service is a service of cloud which will help you to get a ready-made platform. Let's say I need a Java ready-made Java platform so that we can start working on Java project. I need a .NET platform, or I need a PHP platform, or a Python platform. Now, platform as a service is a service, okay? So platform as a service is a service, okay, that will help us to get ready-made software development platform, okay? That will help us to get a ready-made software development platform, okay? So once you get a ready-made platform, you can start, you can kickstart with your IT project without wasting much time on preparing the required platform. Then we have software as a service. Here, cloud providers will give you ready-made software. For example, Gmail. Gmail is a software as a service. Salesforce.com, it is a software as a service. Now, SaaS will provide ready-made software. You can take it and you can use it. One beauty of SaaS is what? You need not require to download anything. You need not require to install anything. You need a browser. Open that application in the browser, and then you can start using it, okay? So software as a service is a model that is followed everywhere today, okay? So you can see any application requires today only browser and internet connection to use it. No need of downloading, no need of installing. So all that headache is now not at all present. Now these are the two models, okay? One is deployment model and another one is service model, which is the two main basic cloud computing models. So first model talks about cloud accessibility, and second model talks about okay, services offered by cloud. We'll move further. And now let us try to understand which are the leading cloud vendors in the market, okay? Which are the leading cloud vendors in the market. So the market, cloud market is majorly dominated by AWS, okay? AWS is the one which entered, cloud computing long back, and they have very good cloud setup, okay? They have a lot of infrastructure, and their technologies are also very, very advanced. And they have roughly 30 to 40% of the market share in cloud. Then we have Microsoft Azure. It is around having a 20 to 25% of the market share. So this is also a good one, and it is also competing very well with AWS. And third main player is Google Cloud Platform, or GCP. Now again, GCP entered market a little late compared to AWS. And now it is giving good competition to both Azure and AWS. But remember, market leader is AWS, then Azure, then GCP. And there are around 100 plus cloud vendors in the market, right? So I just listed three. So like Alibaba, Oracle, right? So many are there in the market, but market leaders are these three. We'll move further and let us try to understand AWS Career Path, right? Now, if you learn AWS, then you can work as a cloud architect, where you will design and implement cloud-based solutions. Let's say some people or a organization which is currently having on-premise setup. Okay, so they have their all setup in a I mean, all infrastructure is present in their in-house on-premise setup. Now, you can work as a cloud architect who can help them to migrate all their infrastructure from their on-premise setup into into cloud. Okay, so this is what initial job role you can do, right? So as a solution architect, you can help existing on-premise or existing organizations which are using on-premise setup to migrate to cloud. Okay, this is one. Then also you can work as a cloud architect. What you can do is you can help these startups and you can guide them how you can use cloud for their IT project. Okay, so that those kind of activities will be done as a cloud architect. So one job role is cloud architect, where you will be helping organizations to migrate from on-premise to AWS, and also for startups, you will be helping them to, right? So you will be helping them to use AWS cloud for their IT projects, right? So you will be telling them which services should be used, okay, and which are the other different combinations possible in AWS and which is cost effective, okay. So all this will be done as a solution architect, right? Now, as a cloud architect, with the, okay, you can start your career as a fresher or experienced person also, because if you are joining as a fresher, you will be working on specific cloud services and you will be helping organizations to use them. But if you are an experienced person, already you will be aware of project lifecycle and other things. You will be taking the role of a architect, where you will tell how you can connect different AWS services in order to do your IT project. So that is cloud architect. Then also you can help, you can work as a solution architect. Here you will collaborate with the clients to understand their business requirements and design cost-effective and scalable solutions using AWS. As a cloud architect, your role is limited to only building required architecture for a IT project, okay? Whereas a solution architect means you will be helping the clients or other organizations to organization. You will tell them how you can better utilize AWS cloud and how you can improve your efficiency of your project, okay, and scalability related issues, everything. Then also you can work, okay, if you are a fresher, you can also work as a cloud technical support engineer. And if you have around 2 to 3 year experience, you can also work as a cloud data engineer, right? So there are multiple positions available to you when you enter AWS. Now, for experienced people, they will go with the after learning AWS, they can learn data engineering related services, okay, and also we will be covering a couple of them in our program. So for experienced people, you can work as a cloud data engineer or cloud solution architect. And if you're a beginner, then you can start your career as cloud technical support engineer and also cloud engineer, where you will be part of cloud implementation. Like let's say they want a AWS Lambda function, okay, using Python, which will copy data from one AWS bucket to another AWS bucket. Now, those kind of things will be done by cloud engineer. Okay, so these are entry level jobs. Cloud engineer will be using specific services inside inside AWS, right? So like they may be involved in creating EC2 instances, right? So these are entry level jobs, okay, and maybe writing a Lambda function using Python, right, in AWS, right? So these are entry level jobs for freshers. So as a fresher, you can work as a cloud engineer or cloud technical support engineer, right? For experienced people, you can work as a cloud architect or a solution architect, okay? Or if you are from data engineering background, further you can work as a cloud data engineer, right? And also if you are from DevOps background, you can work as a cloud DevOps engineer. So cloud is required whether you are experienced or fresher, okay? So for all, it is offering a lucrative career opportunity, right? So compared to other fields, here the career opportunities are endless, and cloud knowledge is very much essential. If you want to be in IT sector today, you need to know cloud. So if you don't know cloud, then you won't get the jobs. You can see there are companies like TCS, Wipro, when they go to campus or when you go to interview, if you're a beginner, they will ask compulsory skills today required is one is AWS, then they expect you to know Python or Java. Okay, so these are the minimum skills that are required. So if you're a beginner, you must learn AWS. Okay, and we will be covering Python as part of our program because I will be using it in a couple of services. But whether you are a beginner or an experienced guy, okay, so if you are an experienced person and still you are not aware of AWS, or you are still, let's say you are already working and you have some IT experience, then cloud architect or a solution architect is the best profile for you. Okay, you may be working as a web developer, or you may be working as a let's say data engineer. Okay, you may be working as a machine learning engineer. Now all these requires today cloud skill. Okay, so you have to do machine learning on AWS, you have to do data engineering on AWS, you have to do cloud architecting on AWS cloud. So for experienced people and for freshers, both AWS is must today. Okay, so that is about AWS career path. And last, we'll be saying you thank you for listening this session, and I hope it is informative. And if you have more queries, you can reach to us. And with respect to duration, it's a 2-month program where we will be going through each and every topic in detail. Okay, every service will be learned by doing it. Okay, so entire course is a hands-on. Okay, hands-on course. It is not like I will be going through PPTs and you will be listening and you will be going. No. So you will be doing everything in AWS Cloud. We'll tell how to create AWS account, and every topic will be practically explained through AWS Cloud. Okay, so it will be 2 months of good learning, and remember, only knowledge can save you in this current world. Okay, so all other ways of getting a job will not help you much. If you update yourself with any subject, you can survive in this industry. Otherwise, we will be outdated and nobody will hire us. So duration 2 months, 2 months, daily 1 hour. Okay, so daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. Okay, Monday to Friday, and all are hands-on practical sessions. Okay, so this will be the with respect to duration and course content. The institute will share the entire course content with you, and please refer to that for course content. So it's a detailed course content. You can go through that and you can get back to us in case you have any query. And also we will be providing course content along with the other details when you consult us. Once again, thank you for listening, and thank you for your patience. Bye.